Hi everyone, this is Jose Trujillo once again coming to you from my art studio, and today I will be showing you how I paint a landscape in with some autumn colors, sort of fall, autumn, a little wintry. So here we go. Very simple. I like to keep it simple, okay? Why? Because it's for me. It's a bit more. Not a bit. It's a lot more interesting. It's a lot more true to me, right? To how I paint. So here we go. And one of the things that I like to do is also, besides keeping it simple, is to use both, what I guess, I don't know what you would call it, impressionist type of brushwork, but also I've learned from modern painters also to keep it, not just focusing on trying to mimic impressionist artwork, right? Because that could also be a um, personally I would get lost doing that. I would get lost just trying to. I did that already, when I was younger, and I talk about like when I was younger. Like if I'm really old, I'm not. I just started painting really, really young, but I already kind of went through my. Um, I lost my head, and I went through my binges of how I could paint like Van Gogh, how I could paint like Monet. So that's why I recommend when you're watching this for that, not to get lost in that. I always tend to tell new painters, or people who are developing maybe the style. Maybe you're a painter, but you're trying to quote unquote create your voice in art, your style or solidify or whatever. So for me, it's not that complicated, and I'm not saying this to sound like, oh, it's not complicated for me because I'm the best. I do believe, I do believe I'm very good. I'm probably the best living artist. And the reason I laugh is not because I'm not serious, but because I've seen the faces of people when I tell them this. Um, but I'm not talking about being the best um, realist painter or impressionist painter. I'm just extremely, extremely prolific, and I believe that that makes me the best. I'm extremely prolific at painting. Picasso used to say, give me a museum and I'll fill it. Give me 10 museums and see what I do. I paint like no other painter. I don't think the world has seen any other painter as prolific as I am. So, anyways, enough with my bragging rights. It's my video, so I get to brag. But seriously, guys, on another note, keep it simple. Now, I'm not keeping it simple. No, I'm getting confused. Okay, I'm not keeping it simple to just paint whatever. It took me a while to get to where I know what simple is to me, and it still conveys what I need to. Right, it still has the sufficient information, I guess. The painting carries the message or the information that I needed to. You know, if you can do it in I don't know, a million brush strokes, then do it in a million brush strokes. You know, I'm not telling you that you have to be fast or you have to be like this or like that. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, this is how I do it, you know, and I'm documenting this. Maybe some stuff will inspire you, maybe some stuff won't. Maybe it'll inspire you to be to paint different and say, you know, I don't like the way this guy paints. I'm gonna do this different. Maybe it'll inspire you to be like, you know, I like how he paints. Maybe I can do something like that. Maybe I can elaborate from that, or maybe, you know, whatever. Doesn't matter. You know, I'm not gonna get like other painters like, oh, you cannot paint like me. Come on, really? Like we all pretty much paint the same way. It's not the painting itself. This is where I feel like people get it wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I turned this into a rant already. I tend to do that with some of my videos. But for those of you who are like, oh, I am so different, you know, you can't be that different. Come on. It's like everybody paints the same way. There's only so much you can do with a brush and paint. It's not that. It's your je ne sais quoi, really. It's that special aspect of you that is different. It's not your painting. It's how you do it. It's your thing that you don't even know what you're doing. That just comes from you. Whether you were trained or not, you developed it. You know, it's that thing. No one can give it to you. No one can take it away. That's how beautiful it is. It's like a print, you know. It's your special touch. You don't even have to practice. That's how beautiful it is. You don't even have to practice your special touch. You came with it. Start to sound almost land. But I mean it. You don't need to practice that. Like, oh my God, how am I going to do it so that I have a voice? You know, like just keep painting. Watch what happens. You don't have to worry about a voice. Just keep painting. Or if you're a musician, I like to talk to different, because not everyone's a painter. You know, some of you may be watching this and say, "Well, I'm not a painter." Well, if you're a musician, maybe you're a photographer, maybe you are, you know, are in a different type of, you know, maybe you're not an artist at all. Maybe you are, but you don't know. Maybe you're a different type of artist. Maybe you're the kind of artist that knows how to cash checks. Those are good artists too. Yeah. Maybe you're a different type of artist. I don't know. It's all the same. It's all the same. You do something long enough, you do it with because you're doing your passion, right? and it's just going to come out because you're creating that. You know, you're creating that a channel, right? Whatever you want to call it, that discipline creates that channel, right? So, anyways, I know a lot of artists who do these videos don't talk, but you guys are signing up for something different here with me. You know, this is my journey. This is my this is how I'm journaling how I'm growing as an artist, what I'm doing, and you guys are watching something different. It's not just the same old tutorial, you know, like, oh, let me show you if you mix the yellow with the red, you know. I don't know, the yellow. That didn't even sound awesome. I don't know, cadmium yellow with, oh, you know, I don't know. Right now I'm using cadmium red deep. You are going to blah blah blah, you know, whatever, you know. It's for too long. I feel like painting's been it's been made up. This thing, it's not to me, anyways. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the the technical aspect of it. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the process. You know that it's, you know, there's a lot of beauty in the technical aspect. Of course there is, but so many people get caught up on that. You know, they hang on to that, and then they you know, you just can't talk real because you're hung up on that. You know, to me it's brush paint. That's why when people ask me like, what paint do you use? Well, I'll tell you, but does it really matter? You know, I remember reading that from one of the stories, I guess, say about Monet. I think it's documented somewhere. I don't know. Well, otherwise I would have never heard of it, right? But it's, you know, people kept asking him about what palette he used, and he said it's not the palette, it's how you use it, and only, you know, it takes one to know one. Only the experienced artists, whatever that is, right? I believe it's time. I believe it's observation. It's a couple of things. But only an experienced artist will understand that. And yes, it has nothing to do with the palette. I know you want to find out, but even if I were to tell you, it's meaningless because it's not why Monet was Monet. Monet was not Monet because of the palette he used. Certainly it helped him. Certainly it meant something, you know, that they started using different paints or whatever than their contemporaries or the people before them. But that's not what made Monet. Right? Same thing here with me. That's not what makes a Trujillo. A Trujillo is made by Trujillo. Whether I use this palette or I use another palette, or, you know, it doesn't matter what I use. It's I chose to use this, but this is not what makes the painting. I mean, come on. If I were to sculpt, it still would be a Trujillo. It wouldn't be, you know, it has nothing to do with that. Very little, if any. If you want to put anything in there, it's got to do very little with that. Very, very fast, I turn them into rants, you guys. Rants and raves. Well, I'm trying to give you something different, you know, something different than what I've seen in the tutorials or you know, usually you go to a tutorial and it's like, if you want to paint flowers, you must do this. No, like, hear me out. If you want to paint flowers, by all means, do whatever you want. You know, do it like me, don't do it like me. It doesn't matter, because soon enough you're going to find out what works for you. And that is much more powerful than anything I can tell you. Certainly, you know, I could tell you, you know, do this, do that, move this way, move that way. But I feel like it's got its place, you know, that has its place. But I guess what I'm always campaigning, campaigning here, is that well, what a harsh word, uh, is that it doesn't really matter. You know, it plays a part, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. Nothing matters as much as being free when you're creating artwork. I know it sounds ethereal. I know it sounds like, what are you talking about? Whatever you're doing, if you do it enough, I know some people say, oh, bad practice. A lot of bad practice is still bad practice. It doesn't matter how much you put in there. I don't believe that, and I've heard gurus talk about that, but I don't believe that at all. I believe that a lot of practice eventually turns into better practice, and eventually turns into very good practice. It's just because we all do things differently. Yeah, unless you want to paint like someone specifically, then yeah, you probably want to, you know. But if you're trying to paint, not like someone specifically, you're trying to paint. Whatever you do is keep doing that, and that will eventually. Doesn't mean that you don't have to. This is where people maybe get confused when I talk about this stuff. It doesn't mean that you don't have to keep learning. It doesn't mean you don't have to keep, what's working, what's not. It doesn't mean any of that. What it means is don't get stuck on that. Because it doesn't matter what you do. You can never, no one can give you your voice, and no one can take it away. It's yours, it's what you were born with. It's the way you see the world. That's why I'm very much against painting like other people. I like learning from them. I'll see the style, and I'll implement a thing here, or there. But it doesn't matter what I do. It's my voice at the end. My voice will come out. I've done it many, many times. I used to do it when I was younger, right? I used to see the paintings by any of the Impressionists, and I went through all of them because I love Impressionism. I love the way, and more than just Impressionism, I love the Post-Impressionist and the Fauvist. I think that more of my work resembles that type of thing more than just Impressionist, because my brush work is thicker and bigger than that. Because I started doing more different stuff. For me, right? Not necessarily pointillism. Anyways, don't get caught up in all of that stuff. All that stuff is very meaningless. What matters is that you have fun, and that you enjoy what you're doing, and that you do it often, so that you get better at it. I'll leave you with that. My name is Jose Trujillo. I believe that I am the world's greatest living artist. I am very certain of that. I'm extremely prolific, and I just wanted to share my passion and my vision with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy this, and till next time.